So I'm recording this on the Wednesday after WrestleMania 39. And I was going to do the intro, talk about how I'm the head of creative for my YouTube channel, Phenomenal. Wrestling is Phenomenal, excuse me. But I'm not going to do that this time because to use the word that was used in a bunch of reports yesterday, on Tuesday after the WrestleMania, the Raw after WrestleMania, I feel nuked to high heaven because everybody's aware now that Vince essentially is taking back over creative from Triple H. And we had such a good time over the last 9 months, I want to say. Booking actually making sense. Stars we see as stars being pushed. Tournaments returned. Words returned. I know I'll talk about that later. But I was going to do my WrestleMania review. Obviously, night one and night two were night and day. Night one was perfect. If we just call that a WrestleMania, that is close to WrestleMania 30. I want to say it almost overtakes WrestleMania because the booking on that show was perfect. Down to the most insignificant details. Perfect. Perfect. Everybody who was supposed to win did win. I know initially I said Dominic should beat Ray and Ray should retire, but after I saw it, the emotion, storytelling, I was definitely wrong about that. I'm so glad Ray won and beat Dominic. And the entrances, Dominic's entrance, wow. Ray's entrance, when Eddie's music hit, I popped big for that. But like I said, I just feel completely just dejected, frustrated, upset, pissed off. Night two did not go the way it was supposed to in any way, shape, or form. It sucked. Night two sucked. And there are a lot of people, especially someone like JD from NY was pushing the big narrative that Cody didn't struggle enough to win the titles off of Roman. And now, thanks to Vincent Kennedy McMahon, the devil himself, he is just rerunning an old storyline where The Rock beat Cena, took the WWE Championship. The night after, Brock Lesnar just destroyed him. So now we have to go through the same thing we went through before. The WWE Championship, the world titles, both world titles being off of television because Roman's going on vacation or whatever is going on with that. And Cody having to struggle to beat Brock Lesnar. And because the devil is in charge again, we don't know if he's actually going to win like Cena did. He's an outside guy. He was with WWF. He left. He started the competition to try to ruin the WWE. So, there is no alternative. It's either you're destroying the WWE or you're not. So, night two was the worst. If we take both nights into account, it's about a 50%. 50%. I would give night two a 0, and I would give night one 100. Did it balance out to be about 50%. Everything about night one was amazing, like I said before. Everybody that should have won except for Damage Control. The squad that racks up more L's than anybody. See, Theory won. Yes. No Cena. Didn't need Cena. Showcase match. Street Profits won. Yes. I'm fine with that. Originally, I said the Viking Raiders, but Street Profits. I'm fine with that. Logan Paul, Seth. Seth should have won, as I said. It was amazing. Logan can wrestle his butt off. The dude is amazing in the ring. like I said, Damage Control should have got that win. There's no reason Becky and them should have won at all. No reason. But again, it wasn't a huge downer like night 2. As I said before, I thought Dominic should have won, but when Ray won, I was like, yeah, that was the right choice. I was wrong on that one. SmackDown Women's title match. Come on now. Come on. Rhea beating Rhea in a complete, the best women's wrestling. I don't know. Bayley and Sasha. At least the second best women's wrestling match in history of the WWE. I'll say WWE. I don't want people to get upset. Oh, New Japan. The second best women's singles match in WWE history. Rhea won. Rhea was the right selection. Goodbye, Charlotte. Pat McAfee, shrug. I really didn't care. And then, of course, we topped it off with Sammy and KO winning the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. Perfect. There were no bad decisions on this show. There were no bad decisions on this show. And then night 2 comes. A lot of people, including myself, think that Triple H booked night 1 and Vince booked night 2. Complete difference. Complete difference. LA Knight was supposed to appear, I guess, to confront The Miz. The whole crowd would have popped big time, but guess what? He didn't. Why do you think that is? Just why? I know why. Because a 77-year-old man who doesn't know how to book a cardboard box has taken over again. I stopped watching wrestling during the pandemic. As I said in the last podcast, I stopped watching wrestling during the pandemic because it was boring. Fans, you need fans. You can't wrestle in front of computers. Can't wrestle in front of face cams. You can't wrestle in front of cardboard cutouts. I don't like it. Then it came back and I started watching again. I was like, why am I watching this? There's literally no reason for me to be watching any of this garbage right now. So I stopped. AEW was born. Watched AEW every week. Then Vince left. Tuned into Monday Night Raw and SmackDown every single week religiously. Before that, I just let Wrestle Talk and other YouTuber Brian Zane, I just watched those recaps to see how it was going, but I was not going to dedicate 5 hours in total of my week to watching a bunch of rematches, incoherent nonsense, storylines that went nowhere, championships used as props, people not being able to say the word wrestler or wrestling. People complain about Tony Khan's booking a lot, and it's understandable. It's legitimate criticism. There we go. Legitimate critiques and criticism about stuff that should have gone differently, about how the women's division isn't given sufficient amount of time and attention, spotlight, all that. That is completely 100% correct. But then you have Vince McMahon's booking. You're not going to tell me Tony Khan's booking is worse than Vince McMahon's booking. I'm not one of those fans who thinks you should complain about every single thing in existence. I'm not one of those people. Tony Khan's booking has been extraordinary compared to Vince McMahon's booking. You get no worse than his booking. That's it. I waited to do this because I wanted to do it yesterday when I watched Raw after Mania, because a lot of people, then there are a bunch of, WWE sympathizers online talking about, you should have watched it with no expectations. It's the Raw after WrestleMania. It's literally the biggest Raw of the year because people usually, I'm not sure how much it is since the 2-night WrestleMania started, but generally beforehand, before they started doing 2-night WrestleManias, there was a period where WWE would do WrestleManias, and then of course the Raw after WrestleMania came later the next day, and WrestleMania draws the biggest fans, the people who actually watch, the nerds, the geeks, the whatever insults you want to say about wrestling fans, the hardcore my people, the hardcore individuals who love wrestling, not the people who you go to a random city and people are like, well, WWE, we might as well go, and not those people. This is the real people, the hardcore front row people in every single seat. Those people. And when it was a 1-day format, people would stay and do Raw too. They would do WrestleMania and stay for Raw and then go home on Tuesday. Not sure how many people go to both WrestleManias and the Raw after, but that crowd, at the beginning of the night when Triple H first came out, Cody and Roman segment, that crowd was into it. They felt like the same WrestleMania crowd. It was still in LA, obviously. Like I said, there's some people who had to go home on Monday, I'm sure. There's some people who can only afford to go to, WrestleMania day 1 and day 2. They can only go to WrestleMania, couldn't go to Raw, I'm sure. That wasn't 100% of the WrestleMania crowd, but still. They were into it. It was just one of those things. It will look good. Then Omos came out. Then Elias came out. And you knew exactly what was going on. There was 30 minutes of wrestling in a 3-hour show. 30 minutes of wrestling, actual wrestling, people in the ring grappling each other. Everything else was a segment or a promo. Triple H does not do that. In a 3-hour show, at least 2 hours should be wrestling. At least. It's not hard. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. And yet, 30 minutes of wrestling on a 3-hour show. No Bayley, she's tweeted, she's probably out of here. We heard about Drew McIntyre's contract situation before WrestleMania, and we understand why he decided to wait until we get to that bridge because of this. Multiple top talent saying they're looking for their way out. A number of people just said they'll walk out. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say. You saw night 2. Cody should have won. Cody should have won. Before night 2, we heard Roman was going to be out. Roman's off our screens. The titles are off our screens. I don't care how big and how much the Intercontinental and United States Championships are built up to be. They will never be world titles. I love those 2 championships. Do not get me wrong, especially both designs. I know a lot of people don't like the Intercontinental Championship. They say the United States Championship is strange, whatever the case is. For me, I love both designs of the titles. I love Gunther, and I don't like Austin Theory's entrance music. I don't like his finisher, excuse me. But I like him. I like just him. He feels like the prototype. That's a little insider ball. If you know what that is, you're cool. He feels like the prototype. But they're not the world championships. They're not. Cody should have won. And then if you say he hasn't had that much adversity, beat him down, take the title off of him quickly, and then have him do that road to redemption. I'm fine with that. I don't need a year-long build back to WrestleMania to take the titles off Roman again. We've done it so many times. We've seen it so many times. I don't want it anymore. The guy in the back doesn't want it anymore. The guy who bought the first row ticket in the front row Raw doesn't want it anymore. Brock Lesnar guy probably wants it because he's Brock Lesnar guy. But I don't. Many people don't. As I said before, reports of the morality of everybody down. The place felt nuked. Vince on the headset, switching and rewriting segments as they're going on. 15 rewrites before and during the show. Seriously. I think Mercedes Moné was at a autograph signing, either over the weekend or before on Friday, whatever the case was, where a fan was getting something signed and they started talking about WrestleMania, and I think she asked about Roman and Cody, and the dude said, oh, Cody's going to win. And her expression was hilarious because it was true. She was like, you think so? Yeah, that's cool. I won't be watching. There was a reason she did that. You don't think she told Bayley when she was going through all the stuff she's going through, Bayley, you got to leave too. You got to go. You got to go. You got to go. It was inevitable. It was inevitable for us to get to this position because you honestly don't think that with the controlling shares that Vince McMahon had, it was only a matter of time before he resumed his position. It was a matter of time. It was a clock in the back of my head ticking. There was other stuff that was scrapped or put on. Bray Wyatt was driving in Los Angeles and stopped at a light, and fans asked him, Bray, where are you? Why aren't you on WrestleMania? And Bray said, my WrestleMania is tonight or tomorrow. He said tomorrow, excuse me. He said his WrestleMania was tomorrow, meaning Monday. Something was supposed to happen with Bray on Monday. Something big was supposed to happen because it's the biggest Raw of the year. Nothing happened. Who do you think stopped that? There are reports when Vince McMahon retired that he was doing rematches because he would forget what he did the prior week. Literally a form of, senile. Just forget, you're older, your memory doesn't work the same way. But since his ego is so insidious and massive and just this is what we're stuck with now. The only way they will get rid of Vince, because 51% of the WWE was sold off to Endeavor, who owns the UFC. They're going to try to make some kind of combat conglomerate. The only way he will go is if Endeavor fires him. He signed a new 2-year contract. The dude who owns Endeavor, or the president or CEO, whoever was on that CNBC interview about the merger with McMahon, talked about, I wouldn't let him retire, blah, 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 blah. You have no idea who you were sitting next to. You have no idea. Numbers were up big time. Stock was up big time. Vince was not needed. He's still not needed. The only person in the world who thinks WWE needs Vince is Vince. Now where we go from here? I started this YouTube channel last week because it's been a while in the making. I didn't want to just do Pokemon forever. I wanted to do wrestling. I wanted to do anime. I wanted to do everything that interests me, which is a lot of different things. Football, basketball, everything under the sun. I wanted to make channels for that. And the moment I pull the trigger on making my channel, this happens. This happens. The moment I start my channel, this happens. Vince McMahon goes back into creative, and I don't want to watch Raw and SmackDown anymore. I don't think I'll be watching SmackDown. This might just be a creative channel where I'll just do a bunch of 2K stuff, throw it up here, because I'm not willing to cover 3 boring hours of Raw and 2 boring hours of SmackDown. I'm over it. I'm over it. It's a shame. I'm over it. I'm not going to be one of those people who try to make the show seem so exciting. Oh, Raw was so good, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't at all. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it is. I'm not going to, oh, this is my job. I got to make it. None of that. None of that at all. We'll see. I'm not watching SmackDown. I can tell you that. I'm not watching SmackDown. I saw on TikTok a clip where this guy said Endeavor was wondering what happened with Raw because it has literally been labeled and rated the worst Monday Night Raw of all time. Of all time. And Endeavor's wondering what happened. And they want stuff to go back to the way it was before. We'll see. I don't know how much validity that person has on that claim. I don't know if this report is accurate. I don't know if he was just saying this. But this is just the epitome of irritating on every level you can imagine. Backed by unpopular demand, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Stephanie left for a reason. Nobody knows her father more than she does. Do you think she saw the writing on the wall when she quit? There's a reason she left. She didn't leave because of X, Y, and Z. Maybe she did want to spend time with her family. I can't say if she did or didn't. I know she knew when Vince came back into power, her CEO job was, her days as CEO, co-CEO were numbered. I know that. So I don't know anymore. We'll see how Friday goes. A lot of people kept saying that Vince was just taking a spin at the wheel because he was in LA for WrestleMania. He was in LA for Raw. So SmackDown will be in Portland. So I guess we'll see. But I don't have much faith in it. I won't be watching Raw. Gonna watch Wrestle Talk and all those other YouTube wrestling series shows to see if it was a good show. And if it is, I'll go back. I'll rewatch it. I'll go back and watch it, and then I'll talk about it. Up until that point, I'm not doing it. I'm not watching SmackDown based on how terrible Raw was. Not doing it. This isn't the type of podcast I wanted to have today, but I mean, it's just a dejected, frustrated feeling I have right now. So we'll see as time moves forward. My name is Alexander Leviathan. I am head of creative for Wrestling is Phenomenal, and I will talk to you very soon. And